Good morning, ma'am, and good morning, classmates. We are the Group 9, and we will be going to report the two phases of 1872 Cavite Mutiny by Chris Antoinette Piedad Pugay. I am Saif Abdullah Piang, and I am with Miss Lodelin de la Vega Bernabe. Okay, so what we'll discuss? The first one is the background of the author, the second one is the historical background of the document, and the last one is the perspective account of 1872 Cavite Mutiny. Okay, so to the background of the author, who is Chris Antoinette Piedad Pugay? Chris Antoinette Piedad Pugay is one of the senior history researcher of the National Historical Institute for the Manila Times. The historical background of the document. The 12th of June every year since 1898 is a very important event for all of the Filipinos. In this particular day, the entire Filipino nation as well as Filipino communities all over the world gathers to celebrate the Philippines Independence Day. 1898 came to be very significant for all of us. It is as equally as important as 1896, the year when the Philippine Revolution broke out owing to the Filipinos' desire to be free from the abuses of the Spanish colonial regime is as historic as the two. 1872, a historic year of two events, which is the Cavite Mutiny and the martyrdom of the three priests. What happened in the Cavite Mutiny? The two major events happened in 1872. First was the 1872 Cavite Mutiny and the other was the martyrdom of the three martyr priests in the persons of fathers Mariano Gomez, Jose Burgos, and Jacinto Zamora, or also known as Gamborsa. However, not all of us knew that there were sides of the story since this event led to another tragic yet meaningful part of our history, the execution of Gamborsa, which in effect of a major factor in the awakening of nationalism among the Filipinos. As we can see on the screen, February 17, 1872, the Gamborsa were executed by Garrote in public to serve as a threat to Filipinos never attempt to fight the Spaniards again. Cavite Mutiny, uprising of military personnel of Fort San Felipe on January 20, 1872. Around 200 soldiers and laborers rose up in the belief that it would elevate to a national uprising. The mutiny was unsuccessful, and government soldiers executed many of the participants. As a result, the leaders of the plot were killed. What is mutiny? Mutiny is a rebellion against authority. Comes from the old verb mutin, which means revolt. Spanish accounts of the Cavite Mutiny. We have here the Montero's account of the mutiny, and the official report of Governor General Izquierdo on the Cavite Mutiny of 1872. Jose Montero y Vidal, a profile Spanish historian, documented the event and highlighted it as an attempt of the Indios to overthrow the Spanish government in the Philippines. Meanwhile, Governor General Rafael Izquierdo's official report magnified the event and made use of it implicate the native clergy, which was then active in the call for secularization. The two accounts complemented and corroborated with one another, only that the general's report was more spiteful. Initially, both Montero and Izquierdo scored out that the abolition of privileges enjoyed by the workers of Cavite Arsenal, such as non-payment of tributes and exemption from forced labor, were the main reasons of the revolutions as how they called it. However, the other causes were enumerated by them including Spanish Revolution, which overthrew the secular throne, dirty propagandas, proliferated by unrestrained praise, democratic, liberal, and republican books and pamphlets reaching the Philippines. And most importantly, the presence of native clergy who, out of animosity against the Spanish friars, conspired and supported the rebels and enemies of Spain. In particular, Izquierdo blamed the unruly Spanish press for stockpiling malicious propagandas grasped by the government to install a new Hari in the likes of Father Burgos and Zamora. The general even added that the native clergy enticed the other participants by giving them other charismatic assurance that the fight will not fail because God is with them, coupled with handsome promises of rewards such as employment, wealth, and ranks in the army. Izquierdo, in his report, lambasted that the Indios as gullible and possessed in an innate propensity for stealing. The two Spaniards deemed that the event of 1872 was planned earlier and was thought of as a big conspiracy among educated leaders, mestizos, abogadillos, or native lawyers residents of Manila and Cavite, and the native clergy. They insinuated that the conspiration of Manila and Cavite planned to liquidate higher-ranking Spanish officers to be followed by the massacre of friars. The alleged preconcerted signal among the conspiration of Manila and Cavite was the firing of rockets from the walls of Intramuros. According to the accounts of two, on January 20, 1872, the district of Sampaloc celebrated the Feast of the Virgin of Loreto. Unfortunately, participants to the feast celebrated the occasion with the usual fireworks display. Allegedly, those in Cavite mistook the fireworks as the sign of attack.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, readers. I am Ludilin de la Vega. I am going to report the continuation of our topic, the two phases of 1872 Cavite Mutiny. Edmond Blochu, he is a French writer, complemented Tavera's account and analyzed the motivation of the 1872 Cavite Mutiny. Excerpt from Blochu's account of the Cavite Mutiny, he said, the arrival in Manila of General Escuerdo put a sudden end to all dreams of reforms. The account of Blochu supported the account of Tavera, that confirming that the event due to the discontentment of the arsenal workers and soldiers on Cavite Fort. However, he focuses on the martyrdom of the three priests in which he actually witnessed. In the differing accounts, Spanish friars used Cavite Mutiny as part of a larger conspiracy to cement their dominance, which is the Gomborza was involved. The friars also showcase the mutiny as a part of a greater conspiracy in the Philippines by Filipinos to overthrow the Spanish government. Unintentionally, it resulted in the martyrdom of Gomborza and paved way to the revolution culminating in 1898. Ang Spanish friars ay kanilang ginamit para madamay ang tatlong pari because in this time the state and the church are not separated. So, makonek natin ito sa topic of secularization of Philippines, but that is a long story. And we will focus na lang tayo sa nangyari sa tatlong pari. Ang mga Pilipinong pari kasi that time ay ipinaglalaban nila ang kanilang katungkulan na mamuno sa simbahang Katoliko sa Pilipinas. But the Spanish friars was threatened dahil naisip nila na mawalan sila ng dominance dito sa Pilipinas, dahilan na bumawi o gumanti sila sa native clergy na pinagbintangan sila na sila ang nag-back up ng pag-aalsa sa mutiny. So, what is really the importance of the Cavite Mutiny and connection to Philippine independence? Another topic din po ito. Ang pagpatay o pagbigti sa tatlong paring Pilipino will witnessed by many Filipinos at ang isang nakabalita ay si Rizal through his father Pasiano at yun ang nagbigay ng dahilan kay Rizal to fight the colonizers pag lumaki na siya. Without the Cavite Mutiny, there will be no execution of the Gomborza. And without the martyrdom of the Gomborza, Rizal won't have that theme for reforms. And without Rizal seeking for reforms, there will be no noli me tangere and el filibusterismo. And without these two nobles, the Filipinos won't be awakened concerning the harsh situation of our country. And one prominent person na attached sa nobles ni Rizal is Andres Bonifacio. And we all know that Andres Bonifacio is one of the leaders of Katipunan na tumulong upang makamit ng Pilipinas ang kalayaan through the Philippine Revolution. So we can see that there's a connection dun sa events na nangyari. For additional, Rizal dedicated his second novel, El Filibusterismo, to their memory or the memory of the three priests. I dedicate my work to you as victims of the evil which I undertake to combat. Therefore, we can conclude that the Cavite Mutiny is a very important event in the Philippine history. Without it, there will be no Philippine Revolution siguro or mas matagalan pa bago makalaya ang Pilipinas.